lot of concerns about the Clarkston community and surrounding community for several reasons, and I believe the community is very susceptible to the spread of the virus and also susceptible to complications from the virus, including death and many other complications besides that. And the reason I believe that quite strongly is just what we're seeing around the world. One example is Italy, and one of the things most pronounced about Italy is that they have a lot of multi-generational families, a lot of families where there's elderly people with their children and then their grandchildren living together in the same home. In Clarkston, there are a lot of multi-generational families and grandparents taking care of young kids in really tight-knit spaces and apartment complexes. And that's essentially the highest risk population because it appears that kids can transmit this disease without having symptoms, and then it can go on to elderly people, their grandparents. There's a lot of chronic disease in Clarkston, so they're especially susceptible to complications from COVID-19. While I can't say that there has been a documented case in Clarkston, I'm 99% sure that there is coronavirus in Clarkston, and it's just a matter of time before they get into the apartment complexes. While I know some religious communities have stopped their services now, many religious communities did meet this past week when the virus was in the community, and that's a big risk factor. I think there's also a lot of community factors that are a concern. Many different cultures that have come here from different parts of the world have very strong communal cultures where there's a lot of close-knit interactions, there's a lot of large families, and there's a lot of commingling. And those are just big risk factors for the spread of this virus, unfortunately.
Yeah.
We've been trying to reach out into different communities, and I've spoken to many pastors, local pastors, this past Saturday to try to get them to stop church on Sunday, but a lot of them went forth anyway. And I'm hoping now that there's even more voices saying not to, that all churches, all different religious services are going to be canceled this coming Sunday, and also different smaller group meetings of religious organizations. I think that's one step. The other step would really be what we call social distancing, which is families staying home and not going out. I think that's a big concern when families go out together and hang out with other families, just because there's a big chance that the disease can spread in that situation. And many people are from communities where this is common, so it's hard to explain the significance of it. The other kind of factor I've spoken to with other people in the community is many cultures that come here, and we see this a lot in the clinic, don't have an understanding of preventive medicine, that you do certain things before you have a disease. And so many people are under the impression that it's not a problem until you have it. But with this virus, all the work has to be done before people have the virus, and that's a very difficult concept to explain. And it goes counter to kind of how many people have been raised outside of the U.S. My hope in gathering together is that we can help provide, and what I think the only thing that will be effective is consistent messaging from many different voices that's targeted at these communities. If one person tells someone not to do something, it probably won't make a difference. But if many different people are doing that in a consistent manner, I think it can begin to make inroads into these communities. I think at this point we're not trying to say, we want zero coronavirus cases. We're trying to mitigate, which means we're trying to decrease the number of possible cases, because certainly it's already there and it's already beginning to spread. We just want to minimize that as much as possible. That's what I have to say, and I'd love to hear other people.
Yeah, thank you for that. I guess I'd like to hear from the folks that are, leaders in the different communities. What are you hearing in your communities? Are they taking it seriously? How can we start getting the word out there?
Well, this is Omar Shike with Somali American Community Center. Thank you for Sagal Radio for organizing this and listening clinic and all the guests there. Truly, we are behind a little bit about this, and only last week the big mosque in Clarkston has closed its doors for prayer. Now we have also 2 big mosques that are still open for the community, and we are trying. But the problem, as the doctor mentioned, it's culture, it's faith. Many things come into it. People are scared and afraid. But the problem, again, is people believe in their faith, and they say, this is from God, and it's going to just take care of itself. So that's the big problem we have. We have a lot of other issue with our kids at the school, where parents are away now, and the kids I have like 5-6 kids every hour coming to my center and looking for homework help, where the families, nobody's helping the kids to do the assignment that were given to them. I just wish DeKalb County will suspend a little bit until maybe after spring break, so that gives time to see how, the kids are doing. But now they're receiving a lot of homework and nobody's helping them with the kids. A lot of their daily assignment, and nobody's helping them with them. So these are the things that we are thinking, and I just don't know. I mean, it's in our community mind that, plus there is no testing in the community.
Yeah.
So it's a challenging time.
Yeah. Thank you for that. Fatima, do you want to tell us a little bit about the Syrian community, and if you have some thoughts about what's happening and how people are reacting?
Yes, I can say a couple of things. So obviously they are freaking out. They don't understand English, but we as an organization have managed to put together a PowerPoint presentation that explains what the coronavirus is, the risk factor, how it's spread, and what they need to do to basically prevent bringing it to their homes or communicating it to their children. So they've confined themselves into their homes, but the biggest problem is they all live within the same area, so they're going over to each other's houses, they're having coffee, they're having kebabs. It's like it defeats the purpose of that whole presentation that we've put together. So we're just trying to figure out how we can best explain to them that coming together, visiting each other, it's something that they shouldn't be doing. So we're struggling in that aspect. The other thing that we're struggling with is food aid. So they're not going to the stores, and they're asking me to bring food to their homes. So, and I don't know how I'm going to do that. So I've been working with a couple of people trying to figure out if we can create a food drive where everyone can donate type of food at a centralized location, and we can package it together and basically either deliver it to the doorways or have them come and pick it up. It's just an idea that we're playing around with. I mean, we have to be healthy first before we can help anyone else,
So is there a certain area where folks are living that you're working with? Is it?
So predominantly all of our clients are concentrated in Clarkston, and some of our in the lakes. Some are at Clarkston Oaks, and some are Clarkston Station. So basically all the apartments that are in Clarkston is where they live. What's the other one? Clarkston Townhomes. That's right across the street from Refuge Coffee.
Okay.
So a lot of our clients live there, and food is a necessity that everyone wants, but we don't know how we're going to get this done. We don't know. I don't have a method, and, if anyone can help figure it out with me, that would be great.
Well, I actually got an email today about a resource about somebody who's doing exactly this. If you need food, but maybe, and then people delivering it. So maybe, I don't know if they're equipped to do it because of the language, But I can put you in touch with them, and maybe we can strengthen something that way, because I have a feeling that's for every family.
Yes.
Okay, thanks for that. What about the Nepali community?
Yes, Mr. Kumar Kesi, who is the president of Nepalese Association of Georgia. I think he's in line.
Yeah, I'm in line. Actually, in our community, we are sharing the information right now, and all the information from like CDC or WHO, whatever we got from them, and we are sharing those information to our community. And we are counseling all our members in a different area like Marietta, Atlanta, and Lawrence Hill, and Douglasville, and just advising them, counseling them about just maintain social distance right now. All the government are saying about it, and the one thing I'm telling my community members, quarantine yourself. Quarantine yourself. Just be separate from the others, and always do those simple things. You can do it. Why don't you do it? Wash your hands frequently and take a good shower and stay off the gathering. And do not panic at all. If you panic, it might be more trouble. Just do not panic. Just do all the regular social work and don't panic. And I'm telling all most of the people, do not restock unnecessary things more than 15 days. Why you need 200 pack of toilet paper? You can use water and a good soap. Just wash your hands. Take a good shower. Once you go back,
these are the general concerns, but the what exactly your community is having the problem? What kind of problems your community is having right now?
Yeah, currently we are sharing all the information, and everybody's panicking. We are giving a good advice, and what we can do, we are still working on that. So let me go with this meeting and what we can do for all the community things, and we'll share it.
Are they listening to you when you tell them to not go into big gatherings and things like that?
Oh yeah, we are already postponed, cancel out most of the gatherings for the census program. We cancel it. We cancel out New Year celebration for next month. We cancel those, and we cancel out Nepali school center we used to do every Sunday Nepali school for our kids. Now we cancel, and most of the social gatherings are already being canceled.
Yeah. Okay. Good. All right. Who am I forgetting? Who wants to go next? Is there another community representative about not having services? That's still an issue we need to talk about, right?
Yeah, I think the big Masjid Mu'mineen has decided to close, which I commend them. But there are several other masjids still doing the prayer, which everybody has tried to do it, and they are talking about it. But it's an issue, and I'm gonna go there tomorrow for the Jumu'ah prayer, and I will try to convince tomorrow or tonight probably the leaders up there in what is a better way can we do the Jumu'ah without crowding too many people in one place.